Well, this past Friday, the Biden administration, you may have heard, released its long-delayed Title IX regulations. The administration has now added sexual orientation and gender identity to Title IX, which was enacted in 1972 to protect females and to provide equal education and sporting opportunities. It was to protect women, period. Under this new law, there will be no sex-separated bathrooms, locker rooms, living accommodations, or opportunities on campus, apparently. No doubt that the final rule's broad interpretation of the term sex is guaranteed to completely upend the educational protections for women that they've enjoyed now for more than 50 years. Here to discuss this manipulation of the Title IX regulation is a senior legal fellow from the Heritage Foundation, Sarah Parshall Perry. Sarah, nice to see you today. Thank you for taking the time. Listen, this is a complete destruction of Title IX. Title IX was put out there in 1972 to protect women so they had equal opportunities on campus, whether it was in the classroom, in STEM classes, or on the athletic playing field, that they would get scholarships like the men would get. It wasn't for men dressing up as women to run track or swim, right? Am I wrong somewhere?
No, you're 100% correct. In fact, it is only a one-sentence anti-discrimination law that includes only the condition of sex as being a prohibited discrimination category. It was the height of the women's liberation movement. It was their crowning achievement because women were not being granted equal access to graduate programs, equal opportunity to play in scholastic sports. And what the Biden administration has done is essentially flip upside down the entire notion of equality and the entire canon of civil rights laws that have protected women for generations. This was around for now 52 years, and they've expanded the definition of sex to include sexual orientation, gender identity, and pregnancy or related conditions, including termination of pregnancy. So yes, that means abortion. They have taken what was a very simple missive to not discriminate on the basis of sex, and now they have set up essentially a battle royale between biological women and girls who are truly still under this particular law protected, and yet will also find themselves knocking up against biological males who identify as females. So how this is going to work and say else. Yes.
I have a question. Why don't we see women who identify as men competing in men's sports?
Because the athletic advantages and the physiological distinctions are obvious, and they are too obvious to ignore. They are
Next
truly,
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's we're just going to go through this simple stuff here. Next question. How many pronouns are available on some of these college campuses? 10, 15, 20, 50, right?
Well, there are now
72
gender identities now.
72 gender identities. If there are 72 different gender identities, why, when you go for a transition, there are still just two options?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Why is that?
That's exactly it.
Why is that? If there's only two options, why do we have 72 genders listed on some of these applications? Can you help me there? I'm not very bright, Sarah. Can you help me?
Well, I tell you what, you have posed a perfect rhetorical question. That's exactly it. Everything in the end comes down to the biological distinction between male and female. We know that individuals have sexed hormones, they have gametes, and they have sexed hormones between XX and XY from chromosomal distinctions. There's not a third option. There never has been, and there never will be. And ultimately, the biggest issue here is the fact that the Biden administration refuses to identify reality, common sense, and the protections that women have enjoyed for more than 50 years.
And here's the crowning achievement of my questions. Will this survive at the Supreme Court? Can it possibly survive a challenge? I don't see how it does. This is Title IX. This has been in place for more than 50 years. It had one purpose: to protect women and give them equal opportunities and level the playing field. This does the exact opposite. Can it survive the Supreme Court challenge?
No, I don't think it can, particularly under the composition at the Supreme Court. And there are multiple ways to challenge this law, whether it's First Amendment, because this law actually institutes preferred pronoun use and misgendering as sex harassment claim bases, whether it's a violation of administrative law because this particular reading isn't supported by the text and history. It's a major questions doctrine violation. So, no, it won't survive at the Supreme Court.
Gives me a headache. It does. How do you misgender somebody when the words that they put out there for 72 genders aren't words? They're collections of letters that are completely meaningless. I'll give you 15 seconds for the last word, but please tell me.
Well, I tell you what, the Sixth Circuit's already weighed in and said that you cannot force someone to violate their beliefs just to use your preferred pronouns, and the Supreme Court will rule the exact same way.
Thank you, Sarah. Good conversation. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Really do appreciate it. You know, you got to bring some sarcasm to get people's attention sometimes. Sarcasm is my love language. We'll get back to news after a quick break and a message from our sponsor, Birch Gold. There is a very common sense reason gold is pushing to all-time highs right now. Actually, several reasons. The cost of goods continues to rise despite interest rate controls by the Fed, up more than 20% now. The national debt continues to skyrocket on its way to $35 trillion right now, causing many to worry when the whole house of cards will come crashing down. It's a presidential election year. That will have massive implications on the future of the country as well. So all of this adds up to instability and a lot of uncertainty. That's why so many Americans are turning to Birch Gold. You have diversified savings yet? If you haven't, secure a portion of them with gold from Birch Gold. Text America to 989898. Get your free information kit, and you'll learn how to convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. It doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. They have an A-plus rating with a Better Business Bureau, tens of thousands of satisfied customers. You can count on Birch Gold. Again, text America to 989898. Claim your free information kit right now. Protect your savings from uncertainty today.